Good day, peoples of the internet. Today I have Ivo Novotny with me, who is not just a coach, but he's a trainer in meditation. I'm really excited to talk to you today, Ivo. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mike. Hello.
Tell us, how did you get into meditation, first of all?
Actually, I was all the time somehow interested in meditation, and I tried here and there different pieces at university. It was a kind of meditation, but well, it was other kind of training. And then one day I burned out in a job. And that was actually the biggest trigger where I said, well, it's time to see inside and find a way how to help myself. That's where I discovered, well, meditation might be the way. Then I decided to go through a training. And because, well, I'm a learning and development person, I said, well, it's good for me. So not only for me, but also for the others.
What was your job when you had a burnout?
I was the regional HR director, responsible for a couple of countries in Central and Eastern Europe. Yeah.
And you say you had a burnout, so you started looking more inside. Is that when you came into contact with coaching, or were you aware of coaching beforehand?
No, I was coaching for that. My coaching was started actually in tennis. Well, I was a tennis coach at the age of 18. I had a tennis school. And then when I started in HR, I was in learning and development. And then coaching was part of my job. And the coaching was actually before the mindfulness, but now I'm combining both.
I love that you have a background in sports. As you may know, I'm also a former sportsman myself, and I'm a big fan of combining physical well-being and mental well-being. I think it's a good combination because our mind resides in our body, so we do need to look after both, and I feel like they work in harmony with each other. So you came into contact with coaching through tennis.
Yes, it was sport coaching. I was actually better trainer than performer. I enjoyed more working with people and seeing their development than myself competing with others.
This is actually a really great point you raise, and I love this comparison. You mentioned that you were better at helping others become a good tennis player than being a player yourself. And it's funny that coaching often has a negative connotation. Coaches get a lot of criticism, but just like in sports, you don't actually need to be an exceptional player to be able to be a coach. You just need to understand the game, and you need to understand the different moving parts to be a coach. And I feel like it's like that in business and life as well. And about coaching, what was your journey through coaching? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, I started in HR. I went through different HR areas from recruitment to comp and ban, and the learning and development was really the place where I found the most meaning for myself, and that was something where I wanted to develop. One opportunity came up that there was a coaching training, and I decided to go for that, not to be only on the management path, but really use it also as a development tool. It could be combined. Well, it could be used in management and leadership, but it could be used really in the development area. So for myself, it was quite natural to go on this way. So that's where I started. And then there were different trainings I went through. There was Ericsson School coaching, then there was a John Matton certification, and there's team coaching. So there are different areas, and I'm trying different new trainings every other year really to keep updated.
Thank you for sharing that. What did the formal coaching training help you with specifically? So obviously you had some understanding of coaching in sports from tennis, and then you took the formal coaching training and like mindset coaching, let's call it life coaching, whatever you want to call it. But what does this formal coaching bring you?
Well, there was a rigorous process behind, so you really went through different stages. When I was coaching in tennis, it was somehow unconscious how I did it because I didn't know. So in the coaching training, it was really quite a long and deep training, and we went through different phases, and then I learned, well, how to ask powerful questions and how to work with a different type of people. So it was much deeper than what I've experienced before.
And how do your clients benefit from this knowledge that you learned on those coaching trainings?
I developed the way, well, how I can listen better. So it's not only about asking powerful questions, but what I'm using today is listening. I listen more, and I listen on different levels. to really understand better what are the thinking processes, what are the emotions the clients are going through. And I'm trying to offer them sometimes a different view, sometimes I inspire them, sometimes I challenge them. I'm trying to create an environment for them where they can learn in a safe and confidential environment.
What would you say is the biggest difference between sports coaching and business coaching? Do you call it business coaching or life coaching, by the way?
I call it executive coaching because I work with leaders and executives who could have issues or challenges in the business, how to ensure that you have good time management, that you are leading a team of people, and there could be different questions you might have. And then we are going also in the personal area, and then we are tackling problems like, well, you are not able to sleep, you worry too much, you are overwhelmed from all the social media, and so on. So it is really fluctuating from the business part to the personal part, but I'm focusing on the leaders, managers, because this is the environment where I spent like more than 20 years and I know it. I have personal experience from that. I can relate to people and I can also give them a different view on what they are going through.
That's my experience also, that business coaching and life coaching are often inseparable in a way. That's why I asked which one do you call it, or you said you call it executive coaching, but it is always a combination because the business life is affecting the personal life and vice versa. The personal life is affecting people's business.
Yeah. The people I'm working with are mostly from business, so they are managing businesses or managing large teams. So it's more on that side. So I'm working with corporations, I'm working with entrepreneurs. And the difference, how I see it, is if that would be a pure life coaching, then I would be working with individuals who would come with different kind of problems, questions, but the business would be probably not involved there from the beginning. So I'm starting from the side of I speak with businesses, business owners, managers, and then if there are personal issues they would like to work on, then we go there as well.
Thank you for clarifying that. Going back to the question, what do you think is the biggest difference between sports coaching and executive coaching?
I don't know if I have an answer for that because there could be top players who are in different sport areas, or their goal is to be successful in what they do. And you can help them, support them, guide them as a coach. And you can do actually the same with CEOs, board members, executives. They also want to be successful. And you might use pretty similar questions, methods, tools to help people in sport as well as in business. I don't have a proper answer, well, if there is a difference.
So what you're actually saying that they are pretty similar?
I would say that you can coach executives to be successful and you can coach people in sport to be successful, and you can go the same way. But probably it is not similar because there is a different environment. If that would be in sport, you would probably focus more on the physical side and the fitness side than in the business. So there might be different areas. But well, I see top athletes and top managers pretty much similar. There are people with high motivations who would like to be successful and achieve their goals.
It's really interesting that you mentioned that on the sports side, you would focus more on the physical aspects. But of course, there is still a big mental aspect of it. So when we talk about executives, as much as we focus mainly on the mental aspect, is there a physical aspect of it as well?
Maybe I didn't say it properly that in sport it would be only physical. The higher you are in a sport and the better athlete you are, probably the mental side is the most important because then everyone else is on similar physical level. In business, I would say that the physical side is sometimes not a top priority, but well, I would say it's one of my roles to say and to show my clients that also the physical part is important for them because they will not work with that. They will not achieve what they want because the physical and mental is pretty much connected.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. That connects with me very deeply personally as well. And I really embrace that ideology in my own life. So very interesting that you came to the same conclusion and you teach this to people or you coach people in this spirit. So where did meditation come from? Where did meditation come into the equation and how do you implement that in a business environment?
In the beginning, well, I was quite hesitant to say I teach meditation and offer it to business people. Nowadays, I do it more and more. I would say it is needed, and there are a lot of people who are looking for some purpose in their life. And meditation could actually help them to calm down in their inner state, and that could help them to really open different areas which might be closed if you are just focused only on performance. So today I see meditation as a superpower, if I may say it so. If you are a business leader and you are successful, and if you meditate, that might be the advantage you have to other leaders because you are using also your inner power. You might explore different areas that stay hidden otherwise.
Can you give us a few examples what these other areas are that come up through meditation and what's the superpower you speak of?
If you are a meditator, you are more resilient. So sometimes some of my clients say, I don't want to learn to meditate because that's too soft and I would be softy and that's not what I want to. And I said, well, actually it is on the contrary. If you meditate, you build your inner strengths and you are much more resilient to stress and to whatever you do. And you actually get much stronger. The life of leader is difficult and it really costs you a lot of energy and time. After a day, you might be tired and you need to recharge your batteries. So if you learn to meditate and if you learn some mindfulness techniques, you learn how to be in the present moment where you actually are able to recharge the batteries also during the day. So the meditation, that's why I call it a superpower. If you're meditating, you are able to perform better. You are able to work on different levels with your team and with your people because you listen differently. You are able to communicate better with your team. So that's another advantage, not only on the performance side, but also on the people side.
Do you observe this with athletes as well that maybe work in a high pressure environment, like competitive athletes maybe?
Yes, you can see it for sure. You can see different athletes who are meditating just before the peak performance or during. I'm using one of the pictures of LeBron James meditating during the short pause in the break, and there are different other athletes who are using those techniques as well. It might be not only meditation, it might be different breathing techniques where you concentrate, where you relax for a short period of time before the peak performance.
If somebody is hesitant about trying meditation because they feel like, oh, like everything is happening, I need to deal with this, I need to deal with that, I don't have time to shut everything out and to turn inside, what would you recommend them?
Try a simple breathing. So really give them opportunity to experience it because meditation, this is something what you can learn, but it's much better to learn it in an experiential way than in just intellectual way. On the intellectual level, you can learn different steps, what should be there, but you never get the experience. So you might understand that it is good to meditate because it's good for your body, it's good for your brain and heart. But you might never do it because why should you? You know it, but why should you do it? When you get the experience, and you experience that, for example, if you try a short breathing before a presentation or before an important business meeting or before a presentation, where you are usually tensed and nervous, you experience the relief that the breathing might give you. Then this is something else. Then you have the experience and know that it is working also for you. So I would not offer you as a first step, let's meditate, but I would offer you before the next important meeting, just give it a minute and breathe properly. Just really focus on your breathing. Just focus on how you are breathing in and how you are breathing out. Just observe the in-breath and out-breath for a minute. You don't need to close your eyes. You can just be there, maybe sit or stand and just breathe. Because the breathing itself, at the beginning, we quite often don't even know how we are breathing. Especially it is true in those difficult moments where we forget breathe. And that's what is causing us a lot of stress, because there is not oxygen in our bodies and in our brains. And that's a problem then, if you don't have enough oxygen in the brain and in the body.
People under stress even forget to breathe. And the lowest hanging fruit is just to start with a small breathing exercise just to regulate the breathing and oxygenate the body. Very interesting. So where did you learn about meditation?
I started with Deepak Chopra, actually. So that was the first touch. But then really with Deepak Chopra and his transcendental meditations. That's meditation where you are using mantras and you are repeating mantras. But then at one point of time, I realized that's not something was bringing me results and joy, and I needed something different. And then I found mindfulness meditation, which is using breath as an anchor point where you are focusing on your breath. And that's helping you being here now in the present moment. Then I went to a training in Bangor in the UK.
To become a meditation trainer? You did
Yes.
training in Bangor?
Yes, to become a meditation trainer, yes. So I went through a training organized by University of Bangor and Mindfulness Network from the UK.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing that as well. If we combine coaching and meditation, what does it bring to your clients? Can you share some case studies or what your clients have experienced at the end of the journey with you?
Some of my coaching clients know that I teach meditation and they apply for my meditation courses, and the vice versa. I had people in mindfulness training, and they said, well, okay, I know that you are coaching as well, and I have something I would like to work on. So what are the benefits? Well, some of the clients say that they could not imagine in the beginning what would happen in the end. They started with something that they wanted to explore, and they could not imagine what would be the end result. What I'm trying to is really to open new horizons that my clients could not imagine in the beginning when we started the relationships, so that they could discover in themselves areas that they were hidden and they didn't know that it even existed.
Thank you. It's very interesting. So what motivates you? Why are you doing it?
Good question. Well, I'm really happy if I see that people develop themselves and that they are discovering new areas that were hidden for them. That's what brings me happiness. This is how I can add something to make a better world.
And what was the biggest transformation you have seen in someone's life, if you can share?
Manager who was purely performance driven, focused only on numbers, who transformed in a person who is now much whole and complete, who is working not only with numbers, but also with people. So using both strengths. So the initial strengths in being a good or great performer, really focused on numbers, but now who's also able to develop the team and he is working with.
I can imagine that was a huge change for the work environment and the people working for him as well. So through your work, it sounds like you're impacting many lives and it creates a ripple effect also.
Yeah.
All right, Ivo. So if people would be interested about coaching with you, executive coaching specifically, or meditation training, where can they find you?
Well, currently the easiest way is to look on my LinkedIn page. There are contacts how to reach me, and this is the easiest way today.
So if you're looking for executive coaching or meditation training, just reach out to Ivo Novotny on LinkedIn and he'll be happy to answer all your questions. Thank you for being here with us today. Thank you for your deep insights and sharing your journey through tennis to coaching to meditation with us and about how you help executives and leaders today. Thanks, everyone. If you enjoyed our session today, please subscribe and follow us on all our social media channels or whichever one you prefer. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mike. Have a great day.